Hello everyone, hope everybody's doing okay. The reason I'm filming today is that Guerlain are going to launch a new fragrance in the Matière line. It is the 4th of November when I'm filming this, so probably when I release this video it will have already been launched. It is about Fève Gourmande. Now, I haven't smelled Fève Gourmande, although it is available in some places. I'm probably going to smell it at some point. However, this Fève Gourmande is supposed to be the release of an older fragrance of theirs, which is Gourmand Coquin, which I have right here. And this was a fragrance from another line, which was called Les Elixirs Charnels, the Carnal Elixirs. Quite a beautiful name for an exclusive line, and this exclusive line was quite beautiful. I think it held 5 fragrances. I don't remember very well. I don't have all of them, but interestingly enough, last year, or at least when they relaunched the whole Matière line. Another one of the fragrances from this line, it's about French Kiss. French Kiss was turned into Rose Chérie for Matière, so it's not the first time they're doing something like this, where they take a fragrance from another exclusive, well, long gone exclusive line and turn it into Matière, or otherwise, when they just relaunch a fragrance, think of l'Initiale, which is nothing else than Shalimar Parfum Initial. So Guerlain do tend to do this. They do have a history of this. However, I feel that this is quite, it's a bit different this time because of the price difference. But enough about that for now. Let's talk about the fragrance, because it is a beautiful fragrance and it is something I own and love to wear, and it's something quite unique in the Guerlain portfolio. Although, oh yes, there it is. This takes me back. So it was probably 2018 or 2019, I don't remember correctly. Let me just check the bottle. So the bottle itself is from 2018. The original fragrance, the same fragrance was launched in 2008. So it was 2019 most probably when I was for the first time in a Guerlain boutique, and it wasn't on the 68 Champs-Élysées. It was actually in Barcelona, in El Corte Inglés. It was a very small, a small boutique, but I was lucky enough that they held all of the exclusives, all of them. And back in 2019, God, there were so many exclusive lines at Guerlain, and I can't believe that I'm already speaking of this as if there's so many, because not a lot of years have passed since then. It's not so far away in time. It's only 2019, but there were so many exclusive lines at Guerlain, and all of them were so beautiful, and all of them were thought distinctly, independently of one another, because you had Les Elixirs Charnels, as I said, the Carnal Elixirs, which were supposed to be these sultry, very sexy, very, again, a word I do like to use, which is non-apologetic, and maybe non-apologetically feminine would be also true, because all of them seem to be quite leaning on toward the feminine side of things. They're very floral, they're very sweet, they're very cheeky, especially this Gourmand Coquin. Coquin actually, or Coquin, I'm not so sure. Coquin actually means cheeky, so it's a cheeky gourmand. And I love them. Even though they're leaning quite feminine, I do think I could pull them off. And even French Kiss, which is just this rosy raspberry, very sweet, almost raspberry juice-like fragrance, which is supposed to be reminiscent of their French Kiss lipstick, and it does have some lipsticky vibe to it. Gourmand Coquin is something that I truly hadn't smelled before when I first smelled this fragrance, because the lady from the Guerlain counter just I don't know why, because I haven't asked for this. I just saw them, and I think I might have asked, so what are these? And she just grabs Gourmand Coquin, because I think this was the bestseller. And, well, you know. And she shows it to me, and I was like, oh my goodness, I haven't smelled anything like this. So what hit me first was a rose scent, because this is first and foremost a rose scent. It's Gourmand Coquin is a rose scent. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. It is a rose. It is a Guerlain rose. Now, what makes this rose special is it's very green. It's like you envision, when you smell Gourmand Coquin, it's like you envision the whole rose, with the leaves, with the stem. It's a freshly cut rose, because you can almost, well, you can sort of feel the greenness of the sap of the plant. And this is a very beautiful imagery in a fragrance. Now, what happens is, even from the get-go, from the very start, you realize this fragrance has gourmand elements. Because it's sweetish vanilla rum. The opening is very boozy. It's very boozy vanilla. And as time passes by, but fairly quickly, because this is a fairly linear scent, fairly quickly this rose becomes drenched in dark or darker chocolate, because it's still a vanilla scent, right? So it's boozy rose, it's boozy chocolate rose, right? So this is a gourmand. Even it is stated in the name. However, this is not what most people expect from a gourmand. This is not aroma, you know, food aromas and nothing else. This is just, you know, I don't know how many times I've said this. I cannot stand modern or you know, contemporary gourmands. I cannot stand them. They are way too sweet for my liking, and I tend to see them as just food aromas and nothing else. Now, this is not, it's definitely not the case with Gourmand Coquin. This is a fragrance that has gourmand elements, and the elements are chocolate, vanilla, and even the rum, right? But this is, it's a fairly simple scent. It's something that's, you know, I mean, I don't want to say it's nothing to write home about, because that wouldn't be true. This is a gorgeous scent that I do find unique. This was a fragrance you could have got for 200, now full retail, because it wasn't available anywhere else. So just full retail, this was a fragrance you paid 200 euros for. And I do remember, because when I smelled it, and I think I got it the same day or the next day, I was just back and I just got it because I loved it so much. So I paid full retail price for it, and it was 200, maybe 215, I don't remember correctly, euros. Now, the elephant, you know, in the room, whatever color you want to give it to the elephant in the room, is that this is getting relaunched into the new Matière, which has different prices. I don't know how many price increases Guerlain have had in the last 2 years, but I think this might be because they did just recently increase the prices. I think it's the fourth, might be wrong, I think it's the fourth time they increased the prices. They are repositioning themselves as luxury, and 200 milliliters of well, the new, you know, any fragrance from La Matière will cost 440, I think, 400 or 450 euros. And for the 100 milliliter bottle, you have to pay 315 euros, which is, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot. This was the bottles, these bottles are 75 milliliters. So it's not, you know, when you do the, when you calculate, you know, if you're into this sort of thing, I'm not. When you calculate the price per milliliter of juice, the price is more or less the same, I think. The problem is availability, because it's when you increase the price, no matter, you could sell them for a gallon, it doesn't matter. When the price point is so high that people just cannot access your fragrances anymore, and mind you, 200 euros for a fragrance is a lot already. Nobody's saying these were cheap. These were not cheap. But when the price point gets this high and you are already so difficult, because a lot of people, especially when I talk to them about Guerlain, most of the people tell me, well, they're not available. I cannot smell them anywhere. Guerlain do not sell samples. They do not sell discovery sets, which in this economy and in the world stage where we are right now with consumerism and climate change, discovery sets are essential. Right, especially for fragrances. Even for fragrances, you need to be very aware what you're buying, what you're spending your money on, because there is, you know, there is this whole marketplace by now where people just blind buy a fragrance they never smelled before, they happen to not like it, and then they resell it. And it's not a good thing, because it promotes this irresponsible behavior in consumers, and the people at the, you know, the brands are still getting sales, so their products are still being sold, so they don't care if the people are reselling them, and it's a shame. So back to this insane practice that Guerlain are doing right now. It's not only Guerlain, I mean, it's quite the same at Dior, it's quite the same at Chanel. These brands do not sell discovery sets, and it is a shame. And no matter how many fragrances with, you know, refillable, with screwed on caps you might make, and recycled glass and all of these things, what you need to do is make your fragrances available. Not only, you know, I'm not going to comment on your pricing because it's not my place. You can price them however you want, but just sell samples, you know, because I think that's very, very important. Now back to Fève Gourmande, their latest release. It's going to be very expensive. It's going to be 400 and something euros, or 315 euros for the smaller bottle. I don't know if they will include it in the 50 milliliter bottle, which is also, they do have 50 milliliter bottles, but not for all of their fragrances from La Matière. I'm not going to get into the new X-rays. I don't care about them. That's just insanity in terms of everything. But is it so? The real reason I'm filming this is because I've seen a lot of banter and hype around this Gourmand Coquin, right? So I've known this fragrance since 2018 or 2019, and I've never heard anybody mention this fragrance as a masterpiece, as their favorite, as... I'm not saying those people do not exist, but it's just they weren't vocal, right? So they weren't vocal enough. So it is very understandable that when Guerlain announced they are going to relaunch Gourmand Coquin, these people would get vocal. However, for some reason I'm not buying this. I feel this hype is fabricated to a certain degree, and it wouldn't be the first time this happens. I mean, you could argue that all hype is fabricated. I do not want to add to this hype, but I will say that this fragrance is gorgeous. It is beautiful, but this fragrance is worth the price that it has been launched with. I am never, when I finish this bottle, I will never pay 400 something euros for a new bottle. I'm not going to blame you if you do. If you love this fragrance, go right ahead. It's your choice. And it's still, I want to say this because it's very important. It's still a very good thing that they relaunch fragrances, right? It's still a good thing. As I said earlier, nothing at Guerlain is truly lost. It will make a reappearance at some point in one form or another. And it's not the first time they relaunch a fragrance in an exclusive line with a different price point. Think of Derby, right? So Derby, when it was relaunched into the Parisians line, they did this before, and it was very, very expensive when they relaunched it. So yeah, it's not the first time they do this. And I have to say also that earlier this year they did a softer relaunch of Gourmand Coquin, and this is something that they do sometimes with their fragrances. And I'm talking about the Shalimar Millésime Iris. I feel that there are quite a few similarities between these two fragrances without them being identical. But whenever I wear, and I did wear this quite a lot, I put quite a dent into this small 50 milliliter bottle, but I did wear this because I do love it quite a lot. This is an even more gourmand fragrance than Gourmand Coquin, because it is quite full of ethyl maltol, which is this cotton candy, caramel, praline, almost chocolatey smell, which is very, very prevalent in perfumery nowadays. So they did it, they added it to Shalimar, to a Shalimar flanker. I'm not even mad. It's a beautiful fragrance. And when you wear this, at some point, because this is a very interesting fragrance, the way it's crafted, at some point the iris kind of sets itself in the middle of it all, and there's two, it's like you're smelling two separate fragrances, which is very, very interesting. It's like you're smelling this heavily gourmand chocolate cacao powdery smell, and then you're smelling this vanilla heavy, regular, you know, usual Shalimar smell. And in the middle of these two planes, there is this buttery, creamy, deep iris. So yes, this is a very good, it's a very good fragrance. It's very, very interesting. But the aspects that tie this Shalimar Millésime Iris to Gourmand Coquin are the powdery cacao, not rosy. There are hints of rose in this, but it's like, for Shalimar Millésime Iris, it's like they substituted the rose with floral, you know, floral violet slash iris. It's very, very interesting what they did here. And it does remind, you know, when you wear it, it does remind me quite a lot with Gourmand Coquin. However, they are not the same scent. Gourmand Coquin is very, no, this one's empty. I wanted to spray Shalimar Millésime Iris, but I didn't, because it's so powerful. It's going to steal all of the attention, and I don't want that. Gourmand Coquin is a lot more crystalline. It's a lot more see-through, transparent. It's a lot more balanced. It's a scent that's not heavy at all. It doesn't feel like a heavy scent. Even though it's got these powerful gourmand elements, right? It's not a heavy scent. It is very powerful as a scent. It's got good staying power, quite good staying power actually, and it does project like crazy, but it's just this crystalline, almost see-through quality, transparentness, which is something that I do attribute to older, well, pre-pandemic Guerlains. And I think I want to do a separate video about post-pandemic Guerlains, because this is when things started to, I mean, change quite a lot at this house. So I'm quite curious to smell the new Fève, well, not Delicieuse, but Fève Gourmande. The name Fève Gourmande, I think it refers to the cocoa bean, because this is quite, yeah, it's a cocoa rose scent. Definitely cocoa, chocolate, vanilla. You know, for once, the description on Fragrantica is I think spot on. Oh, and I want to say that Gourmand Coquin, because the page is right open, right in my face, helps me not to forget some things. This Gourmand Coquin was done by Christine Nagel and Sylvaine Delacourte. This had to be mentioned. So yeah, I don't know what else to tell you about this fragrance. If you have any other questions regarding, well, both of them, because Gourmand Coquin and Shalimar Millésime Iris were the fragrances of the day. So if you have any other questions, I will happily answer them. And that's it. Just like me, if you're fans of this house, try to think of more positive things. You know, until next time, fragrance creates memories, and may yours be happy.